Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic.
How do you feel about the fact that Trump has been in office for less than 7 months and has already taken 47 days off and spent over $65 million of taxpayer money on golf? Well, certainly not surprised. Yeah, the golf days off that we know of, I wouldn't be surprised to find out both figures were double. Breaking news, Trump is off work more days in a month than there are days in a month. I won't have time to play golf if I'm elected president. I'm going to be working for you, I'm not going to have time to go play golf. Donald J. Trump, 2016. First term, holy crap, this guy spends a lot of money on golf, is he even doing anything? This term, man, I wish he was spending more time golfing instead of whatever it is he's doing now. Quote, to be fair, none of the work is his. He's just a puppet for the think tanks that got him re-elected. So the number of days he spends not golfing is irrelevant really. H is basically in charge of fucking off on Truth Social and doing his culture war bit. Stephen Miller and the other dick faces from Project 2025 are doing all the policy stuff, they just have to sell it to Donald, which I'm sure is super easy. Out of all the horrifying things Trump has done so far, this I am the least outraged by. Trump's been in office for almost 7 months and still hasn't released the Epstein files. Because Trump rapes children, you mean the guy who used to walk through the Miss Teen USA changing area joking that he was wife shopping? I'm sure it was only with pure intentions, He did that last time and was re-elected. But Fox News says he is the hardest working president. Fox isn't news. Least of my fucking worries with him. Wish he'd golf more. You realize he's only there to approve the plans that are being made all day every day by the actual psychos in charge. He could golf 24/7 for the next 3 years and it wouldn't make a difference. Project 2025 is in full force and all he does is agree then sign whatever they give him. Yeah, you're spot on. We're seeing Project 2025 in action, and the people pulling Trump's strings are rich asshole Christian nationalist technobros like Thiel. I genuinely can't tell if America is cooked or not. I don't think we'll make it out of this without a violent revolution. Disappointed, but not surprised. Trump's personal lawyer talks to Maxwell and now she gets to go to a minimum security prison. FBI redacting any mention of Trump in Epstein files. This is what should be talked about. Release the Epstein files. It's not like I want him to do more, so if he spent every single day off playing golf, I'd call that a bargain. If you think he's hard at work when he's not playing golf. The only time he's actually doing something is when he's signing bills into law. Everything else that gets done or undone is by his underlings. Amazingly, these are nowhere near the worst things he has done this term. In fact, they're the least damaging things he's done. For comparison, Biden took 577 vacation days over his time as resident. https://www.msn.com/n/politics/government/joe-biden-s/577-vacation-days-over-4-year-term-tops-modern-president/r-r1z622. Doesn't that work out to Biden at about 83 days off every 7 months? Edit, missing word. That data is from the RNC and therefore isn't worth very much on its own. https://cbs.austin.com/news/nation-wealth/fact-check-team-examining-president-joe-biden-mar-a-lago-george-w-bush-barack-obama-delaware-rehoboth-beach-personal-business-RNC-pool-reports. Being away from the White House is not the same as vacation. That's a shit article. Hive mind won't like this one. I mean, trying to say that being away from the White House is a vacation is stupid. New data compiled by the Republican National Committee. Yay, okay. 47 days in 7 months is also only about a day and a half per week. That's taking Sundays and every other Saturday off. He should be fired. He should also release the unredacted Epstein files, but neither of these things are happening. He needs to be under a mandatory RTO. Honestly, it's kind of crazy how much time and money are being spent on golf. You'd think the president would be a bit more focused on his duties, especially with all the important stuff going on. I have more of an issue that Trump is a child rapist and likes his molestation victims to look like his daughter. Once we get though that issue, I'll start focusing on the plethora of other issues with Trump. But for now, Trump is a pedophile rapist. It's all par for the course. Bar dumb TSS. People who don't like Trump, this ridiculous and a waste of money. Where are all the government is wasteful Republicans now? WTF. Republicans, yeah, but he's not a Democrat, so let it burn, foo liberal commies. They'd seriously argue that he's making deals and doing business while golfing. Bunch of sucker cultists. Should be removed and spent rest of his miserable life in prison. I'm just really tired of these "how do you feel about" questions. Completely unsurprised, but given what he's actually done, I just wish he'd have taken every day off to golf. He's less likely to increase the suffering of regular people from the golf course. He likes to be photographed signing horror into law in front of the ugly, gilded fireplace. I feel like these weighted questions are just statements in the form of questions, and you aren't actually looking to ask a question. Take this to our politics. If only there was some kind of moderators to make this stop. Meanwhile, there is no federal law entitling people to yearly vacation time like in most of the world. And $900 million for the Qatar plane, $200 million for a ballroom, and who knows how much cementing the Rose Garden for a bunch of statues. Can't wait to see how much the July 4th UFC event costs. And $20 million to go to the Super Bowl and leave halfway through. For anyone wondering why presidents don't go to the Super Bowl, that's the reason. It's stupidly expensive for them to go. Funding for PBS and NPR only cost $500 million per year. It makes me the most upset that PBS may get cancelled in some rural areas. Although it may survive on donations in cities. PBS Kids shows taught about educational things and good moral lessons. I do think it is within national interests to have kids shows that encourage good moral behavior. Why does this section allow these lazy-ass questions? Because they pop up often. Hey Reddit, how do you feel about puppies and kittens? Nothing matters anymore. Republicans will never hold the dear leader accountable for anything because he's the god and he gives them permission to be horrible. The more time he spends golfing, the less time he spends ruining our society. That is inaccurate. While he is golfing, his yes men are still fucking the country. Probably still tweets while on the shitter after golf though. Look, I hate Trump as much as the next guy, but this sub is now just a karma farm for upvote if you think Trump is bad. I wouldn't be surprised if these posts are made by bots pumping accounts to later sell. 7 months equals 30.5 weeks. So, just over 1.5 days per week. That seems pretty reasonable, TBF. Do you really expect him to be in the office 7 days a week? I think the people who voted for him are among the dumbest MFS who ever lived. That's what I think. If there was a regulation against it, he would just get it sponsored by a tech bro in exchange for a favor. IDK, which is worse. Well, 47 days off would equate to a 5-day work week. Actually, just a little more than a 5-day work week. And days where I'm sure where they're working 20-hour days. So in reality, he's taking the weekend off. If my math is mathing, that's about 1.5 to 1.8 days off a week. So what's the issue? So yes, I'm good with it. If anyone complaining in this group worked 100 hours in 5 days, those are 100 hours that are crazy high stress that have crazy consequences if you make a big fuck up. Meeting people all day. Phone calls, bills, whatever else they do, and we didn't get to take a day or two off, you'd lose your mind. So can you really complain when he takes 1.5 days off a week? Which is about what that equates to. And don't take this as me supporting Trump or not supporting him. IDC, who's in office. You get time off and be a human being. Would you rather your president that's almost 80 grinding every single day, getting no sleep, being exhausted all the time? Or having a couple days off a week and well rested and in the right state of mind? That goes for whoever is in office. I'll take the second pick. Don't forget the billions in insider trading, manipulating the market, insane lawsuits, and extorting many people, both at home and abroad. I'll never be happy until he is in jail or dead. Sorry, I said it. I'm more concerned about him increasing his wealth to the tune of $1 billion per month than I am the $65 million he is stealing from us by ignoring the emoluments clause. His first term, he spent approximately 1/3 of the 4 years at the golf course. I'm just lamenting the country I thought we were. I don't even look at Trump. I look at his supporters at this point. He's a disgusting person doing disgusting things, yet people love him. I thought America was better than this, but I was wrong. That's what is so difficult to come to terms with. You mean Trump, the part-time president, took 47 days of vacation and collected $65 million from taxpayers by charging his crew as he plays his own course? Of all things Trump has done, this is the least of my concerns. I actually prefer that he's golfing and not governing on a whim or reacting to whatever he last saw on TV. Plus, relatively speaking, 65 mil is a pittance when it comes to government spending. 6 months in and it feels like 6 years. Lots of presidents play golf, including basically every Democrat that has ever held office. I am glad they get some time for recreation. I don't want the president operating on 7-day weeks with 18-hour days with zero stress relief. It's a fucking stupid thing to get mad about. Especially when you consider that Trump is ushering in an American Third Reich and is spearheading the destruction of our democracy in front of our eyes. I wish he would spend more time golfing. I agree to a point. But 47 days out of 196 days since taking office, 24.0% of the presidency spent golfing. Pretty much every weekend he flies his entourage to Florida. Most other presidents play locally, Andrews for example. We paid $67 million so far for him to cheat. Trump goes golfing on courses he owns, so his entire Secret Service detail and the rest of the entourage are all paying customers via the US government. That money paid goes, literally directly into Trump's pocket. I would love it if Trump golfed every day instead of the stuff he has been doing, but this isn't a benign hobby in Trump's case. It's a direct transfer of taxpayer money to himself. It's a reasonable thing to get mad about.